Hello,
Hello, Mrs. Wanda. How you doing?
pretty good. How are you?
I'm great.
Good. How's your family?
It's okay.
I'm afraid Norma Guzman, um, her COVID went into pneumonia, so she's not doing too well. So we need to continue to pray for her.
Oh,
And I had already turned in her name with my church that put her on the prayer list. And so when I told her that, it was an encouragement for her.
mm-hmm.
I did find out that, what's her name? Louisa was sick last week, so that's why she didn't come. But I
Okay.
don't know about anyone else. At least there was you and Matthew.
Elena continuing in Venezuela?
As far as I know, because she doesn't like it here in the wintertime, it's too cold.
It's cool. This month is cool.
It started out, nice. And then boy, when it turned cold, we came ice and snow and winter, winter, winter.
Uh-huh. Very cool.
Then I was talking with someone up in Massachusetts, and she said that they didn't have any 8 inches of snow. They had like 28 inches.
Wow.
Yes, a lot of snow. And they're still trying to dig out from under that.
Wow. That is a lot. No.
I'm glad I live here and not there.
Hmm.
At one time I did live up there, but I'd rather live here than there.
Wow. It's too much.
Yes.
It's cool and I like it then snow when caer, not remember the name in English, caer
When it's
is
coming down,
coming down. It's good, but they're not like.
if I can stay inside and watch it, that's fine.
Yes.
But I don't like having to go out on it, and especially when it's ice under the
Mhm.
snow. I lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Well, I grew up there in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And this one year, I was living up in the heights and I had to go down to the valley to work. And I asked, well, it's really slippery out there. Do I have to go? And they said, well, of course you go. And I was driving really slow and careful and spun out.
Wow.
Scared me to death. The good thing about that was there were no cars. The road was totally empty. So, no fear of hitting someone. It was just scared me.
Mhm.
But then I got close. I spun out 2 or 3 times and then I got close and it was downhill and cars parked on each side of the road. And the last time I spun out, I missed another car by just inches.
Wow. It's danger.
I don't like ice skating in my car. Hello, Matthew. How are you tonight? Were you able to watch the recording?
I know.
Matthew, were you able to watch the recording?
¿Cómo?
Que si
Oh.
lograste ver la grabación de la clase.
No.
Oh. Well, you can watch it at any time. It'll stay on for about 4 weeks. and you can download it and re-watch it.
Mhm.
Well, I hope we have some more. I don't want to wait a long time, but I don't know. Maybe we should just go ahead and start. Let me
Okay.
mark who's present. So, well, let's get our page up. All right. Our verse today says, every good gift comes from heaven. And, you know, those good gifts can be everything from just, you know, water to family, to church, to a place to live. There's all sorts of things that God blesses us with.
Mhm.
And so this is telling us that we need to thank him because it comes from him.
Yes.
And it's found in James chapter 1, verse 17. Okay. Last time there seemed to be a little bit of a confusion about the capitals. So I put both the small letter and the capital letter. So what is this one?
A,
And this one?
E,
And this one?
I,
And this one?
O,
And this one?
U.
Okay. Any questions?
No, practice.
Well, it seems like the vowels are much harder than, especially the E and the I,
Yes.
because they're so similar. It's just the sound is just the opposite between Spanish and English. And so it's really important to help to reinforce that. And if it takes 50 times to learn, it's better to reinforce it. Okay, now in our text, it says that we're on page, this is the text, and we're on page 123. 1, 2, 3, and it kind of looks like this.
24. 124.
Oh, 124.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Okay. We didn't finish 23. That's about
The last.
asking the other person their information and telling the other person their information. Okay. And then the workbook is page 82. So let's see. In D, it's write your answers. And so Nancy, tell us what you wrote in part D.
In the page 123.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. My information. Okay. What's your first and last name? Nancy Crispin. What's your street address? 2325 Nashville Pike, apartment 1137. What's your city and state? Gallatin, Tennessee. And what's your zip code? 37066.
Okay, so Matthew, tell us your information.
¿Qué página era eso?
Sorry?
¿Qué página era eso?
123, 123, 123. Es repasando lo último que terminamos de la clase pasada.
Okay. Espera un momento.
So Matthew, I couldn't hear you.
Ya va. What your first and last name is Matthew Londoño. What your street address is ERI no 183C 53 834. What your city and state is Cali.
Okay, and then you both asked the other the information. So Nancy, tell us about Matthew's information.
Okay, I need to listen again now, Matthew, because the
Oh,
other information I lost.
oh,
I have
I'm
it
sorry.
paper. No, it's here. I'm here. Okay, it's here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What is the first name and last name? His name is Matthew Loridoño. What's your address? Row CRA 83C, number 53834. What's your city and state? Cali, Colombia. And in Colombia don't have zip code.
Okay. So Matthew, can you tell us Nancy's information?
What your first and last name is Nancy Christine. What your street address is 2325 Nashville Pike. What your city and state is Gallatin. What your zip code is 137 016.
Okay. And then the next part says address the envelope. So you would put your address up here in this corner,
Mhm,
and you would put the other person's address here in the middle.
mhm.
Okay. Now let's go on now to page 124. And this is a story. So let's listen to the story.
Page 124, exercise B. Listen to the story.
Alicia is 21 years old. She is single. Alicia lives with her older sister and her brother-in-law in California.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Alicia has a good job. Now she wants to move to an apartment with her friends. But Alicia's parents are not happy. In their country, single people live with their families. In the United States, single people often live alone or with friends. What should Alicia do?
Okay, any questions?
No.
All right, go ahead to page 125.
Five.
And up at the top, it says, listen again and read. And so we're going to listen again and read the story while you're listening.
Page 124. Exercise B. Listen to the story.
Alicia is 21 years old. She is single. Alicia lives with her older sister and her brother-in-law in California. Alicia has a good job. Now she wants to move to an apartment with her friends. But Alicia's parents are not happy. In their country, single people live with their families. In the United States, single people often live alone or with friends. What should Alicia do?
Okay, now read the story again, and then in part D, circle yes or no. If it's in the story, it's yes. If it's not in the story, it's no.
Mhm.
Okay, is everyone finished?
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, so Matthew, what's number one?
Number one is no.
Read the whole sentence, please.
Mm. Alicia live with her parents and sister. No.
So who does she live with?
What?
Who does Alicia live with? Her sister?
No. Older sister.
Okay, and number two, Nancy?
Alicia wants her sister to move to an apartment. No, Alicia won't move to apartment. She.
Yes, Alicia was the one who wants to move. And so number three, Matthew?
Alicia wants to live with her friends. Yes.
And number four, Nancy?
Alicia's parents want Alicia to live with her sister. Yes.
And number five, Matthew?
In the United States, single people live alone. Yes.
Okay, now there's a word here. And that can be pronounced live or live.
Right.
And in this case, it's live because of what it's talking about. This is one of the issues with English. This is not the only word that can be pronounced two ways, and the way you pronounce it determines what it means. So if you pronounce it live, it's the place that you reside in, the house.
Mhm.
If it's live, it means being alive, not dead.
Thank you, God.
My parents are not still alive. My brother and sisters are alive. So this is one of the issues. In this case, this is called live. Now then, on part E, it says, read the questions. Talk about single people in your country. Number one, do single people live with their families? Number two, do single people live alone or with friends? And so then F is right about it. In my country, single people live, and so you answer question one. Do they live with their families? Or question two, do they live alone or with friends? And then it gives you two places to answer something there. And then in the United States, single people live. And so you finish that sentence. So think about the questions and write about single people in your country and then in the United States.
No entendí.
Ok, en la parte E vas a escribir las personas solteras ay Dios mío, en donde tú vives, si viven con la familia o si las personas solteras viven con los amigos o solos, viven solos o con los amigos. Esa es la pregunta que te dice la parte E. Y en la F vas a escribir cómo es que ocurre donde tú vives. En Colombia, ¿las personas solteras viven solas o viven con la familia? Y en Estados Unidos, ¿cómo es que, según la historia, ¿verdad? ¿Cómo es?
Ok, es que escribir en inglés.
Te ve la luz que estoy en la clase. Okay. Gracioso. Diego is a joke for me. The lie. He thinks I'll work in the computer.
And you are, but you're also writing.
It makes him live with the family.
Okay, is everyone finished?
Yes.
So Matthew, what did you write?
No, todavía no.
So you didn't write anything?
¿Lograste escribir algo, Matthew?
Lo estoy escribiendo.
Ah, he writing.
Oh, he's not finished.
No.
Mm, mm. Okay. ¿No?
So Matthew, are you finished?
No. Yeah, finish.
Okay, so read what you wrote, please.
¿Cómo?
Matthew, read what you wrote.
Escriba lo que dijo, que leas lo que escribiste.
Ah, not always. In my country, single people like they, my uncle.
And in the United States?
¿Escribiste la segunda, Matthew?
No.
You know,
Okay.
write the other. Okay.
Okay, so Nancy, tell us what you wrote.
Okay. In my country, single people live both situations. Maybe with their family because they care the parents, and other single people live alone. You see both situations.
Mhm.
In United States, single people live alone or with the friend.
Okay.
Okay.
Any questions? All right, let's go to the workbook. It says workbook on it
Ujú.
and page 82. And part A, you match the word with the abbreviation. Is everyone finished?
Yes.
Let's go over this before we go do that. The abbreviation for street is ST and it's still called street.
Ujú.
The abbreviation for lane is LN and it's still called lane. The abbreviation for road is RD and you still pronounce it road. The abbreviation for drive is DR. The abbreviation for avenue is AVE. The abbreviation for boulevard is BLVD. The abbreviation for point is PT. The abbreviation for pike is PK. And the abbreviation for highway is HWY.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay, so Matthew, what's number one?
Number one is
Say the word and then the answer.
CAC.
Okay, it's street and it's letter D. All right, Nancy, number two,
Drive, letter G.
and number three, Matthew,
Boulevard is E.
and number four, Nancy,
Apartment, letter F.
and number five, Matthew,
Road is C.
and number six, Nancy,
Lane, letter A.
and number seven, Matthew.
Avenue is B.
Okay, any questions?
No.
All right, then part B is read the envelope and circle yes or no. So it's going to make statements about the envelope. If the statement is correct, it's yes. If the statement is not correct, it's no. Okay, is everyone finished?
Mhm.
All right, Nancy, what's number 1?
Okay, number 1 is, the letter is from Maria Hernandez. Yes.
And number 2, Matthew? Matthew, please read number 2 and give us the answer.
Maria's last name is Hernandez. Yes.
And number 3, Nancy?
The return address is 14 Lake Drive. No,
What is the return address?
is 874 Upward Drive.
Right. Okay, and number 4, Matthew?
Miss Hernandez live in Middletown. No.
Okay, Maria Hernandez's address is up there at the top in the left-hand side. And it says Maria Hernandez, 874 Apple Drive, Middletown, New Jersey, 07748. So does she live in Middletown?
Yes.
Yes, she does. And then number 5, Nancy.
Miss Hernandez zip code is 60647. No.
What is her zip code?
07748.
Okay, any questions?
Mm-mm.
So going on to page 83 and part C, look at the envelope again. Where is it going? And so answer the yes or no for these statements. Is everyone finished?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Matthew, number 1.
The letter is going to Mr. Lee is yes.
Okay, and number 2, Nancy.
Mr. Lee's first name is Han. Yes.
And number 3, Matthew.
The letter is going to 874 Apple Drive. Yes.
No, Hong Lee's address is 14 Lake Drive.
Mhm.
Okay.
So the address up here is Maria Hernandez. The address here in the middle is Mr. Lee, Hong Lee. So this is the one that we're looking at now, the information now.
Mhm.
All right, then number 4, Nancy.
Mr. Lee live in Chicago. Yes.
And number 5, Matthew.
Mr. Lee's zip code is 07748. Yes.
No, his zip code is down here. It's the 60647. That's his zip code.
Mhm.
So everything here is what is about Mr. Lee.
Okay.
All right, then part D. Now see, I have the answers here, and the part that's highlighted is the answer.
Mhm.
So like for number 5, I have the no highlighted because that's no.
Okay.
Then part D, again, you're going to write your answers and use your information. Is everyone finished?
Yes.
No,
Okay.
no vi cuál era mi dirección acá. Finish.
Okay. So tell us about yourself, Matthew.
And what your first name is Matthew. What your last name is Londoño Osorio. What your address is CRA 183C 53A 54. What your city is Cali, Colombia. What your state is Valle del Cauca.
Okay, Nancy, tell us your information.
What's your first name, Nancy? What's your last name, Crispin? What's your address, 2325 Nashville Pike? What's your city, Gallatin? What's your state, Tennessee? What's your zip code, 37066?
Okay, now go on in the workbook to page 84. Okay, it says lesson 6, Alicia's story. A, play track 47, listen to the story. Number the sentences in the correct order. Now you can actually go back to the story in the other book to figure out what the correct order is.
Page 84, exercises A and C.
Alicia is 21 years old. She is single. Alicia lives with her older sister and her brother-in-law in California. Alicia has a good job. Now she wants to move to an apartment with her friends. But Alicia's parents are not happy. In their country, single people live with their families. In the United States, single people often live alone or with friends. What should Alicia do?
So you can look back in the other book in page 125 and hear it the story to number the sentences.
Like that.
Okay, is everyone finished?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so what's sentence number 1? Matthew?
Is Alicia is
21.
21 years old.
And sentence number 2, Nancy?
She is single.
And number 3, Matthew?
Alicia lives with her older sister and his brother-in-law in California.
And number 4, Nancy?
Alicia has a good job.
And number 5, Matthew?
Now she wants to move to an apartment with her friends.
And number 6, Nancy?
But Alicia's parents are not happy.
And number 7, Matthew?
In the country, single people live with their family.
And number 8, Nancy?
In the United States, single people often live alone or with friends.
And number 9, Matthew?
What should Alicia do?
Yes, that word is should. I know it doesn't look like it, but that's what it, how you pronounce it, should.
Should.
Yes.
Should.
Okay, then part B, you write out the story. And really, you don't have room to write it out this way. You're going to have to write it out this way because there's not room to do it the other way.
Mhm.
All right, now let's go on to page 85. Whoops. All right, so look at the pictures, write L or R. So there's a blank in the spelling of each of these words. So say the word and write the L or the R that belongs, that's missing.
Finish.
Okay. So Nancy, what's number 1?
Dishwasher, yeah, N in the letter R.
Okay. And Matthew, number 2?
Dresser is R.
Okay. And number 3, Nancy?
Table is letter L.
And number 4, Matthew?
Child is R.
Yes. And number 5, Nancy?
Refrigerator. And use letter R begin and N in R.
That's correct. And number 6, Matthew?
Is lamp. L.
All right, now this next part is going to be kind of hard because you're going to be listening to words and writing them down. So I'll play it through 3 times. If you need it some more, I'll play it some more. And it's not the same order that part A is. The first word is the only thing that's the same. The rest may be there, but in a different place. So don't just write those words down.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to play it.
Page 85. Exercise C. Listen. Write the words. 1,
Dishwasher,
2,
large,
3,
room,
4,
lamp,
5,
address,
6,
closet,
7,
boulevard,
8,
road,
9,
living room,
10.
refrigerator,
Okay, I'm going to
Page
play it
85.
again.
Exercise C. Listen. Write the words. 1,
dishwasher,
2,
large,
3,
room,
4,
lamp,
5,
address,
6,
closet,
7,
boulevard,
8,
road,
9,
living room,
10,
refrigerator,
Okay, I'm gonna play it again.
page 85, exercise C. Listen, write the words. 1,
dishwasher,
2,
large,
3,
room,
4,
lamp,
5,
address,
6,
closet,
7,
boulevard,
8,
road,
9,
living room,
10.
refrigerator,
Okay. Now, number 1 is dishwasher.
Mhm.
Down here at the bottom of the page, I have written it. So that's the way I'm going to do with each one of these. So number 2 is large.
Mhm.
Large. Large.
Mhm.
Number 3 is room. ROOM.
And
Number 4 is lamp. LAMP. Number 5 is address. ADDRESS. Number 6 is closet.
okay.
CLOSET. Number 7 is boulevard. BOULEVARD. Number 8 is road. ROAD. Number 9 is living room, and that's 2 separate words.
Mhm.
Living is LIVING. Then a separate word is room, ROOM. And then number 10 is refrigerator, REFRIGERATOR. Okay,
Mrs. Wanda, I have a question.
yes, ma'am.
The number 7, boulevard. Okay, is BOULEVARD.
Yes, it's the first one is B as in boy, and the second one is V as in Victor.
Is-
VARD.
Okay.
It's right here.
Must be okay. So some okay. The first B and the other B is the same song.
No. B and V.
Oh,
It's actually made differently. So
Okay.
I'll put it up close to my mouth. B,
B.
V.
Okay, B V.
Yes.
Okay, thank you
And-
so.
And I know in Spanish, a lot of things come out very, very much alike. And so the B and the V come up very much alike.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
No sé,
All
no.
right. Matthew, did you have a question?
No.
Okay. So let's go back to the other book. And the reason I went ahead and did those is because it's hard.
Mhm.
So it's just easier. All right, so let's go back to the other book, the textbook, page 126. Okay. There at the top of the page, it says review. So this is the end of the chapter, the unit.
Okay.
And it's called, and it says, show what you know. And number 1, the sounds of L and R. A, read the words out loud. Lamp,
Lamp,
living room,
living room,
Room.
large,
large,
Door.
closet,
closet,
Closet.
boulevard,
boulevard,
Boulevard.
table.
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 All right, and then part B, listen and repeat.
Page 126. Exercise B. Listen and repeat. Lamp,
Lamp,
living room,
living
Living
room,
room.
large,
large,
Bar.
closet,
closet,
Closet.
boulevard,
boulevard,
Boulevard.
table.
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 Okay, any questions?
No.
Close living room, boulevard, large, table. No.
And then part C, read the words. Refrigerator,
Refrigerator,
you just do your best.
Refrigerator.
Yes. Okay, so room,
room,
road,
road,
rent,
rent,
address,
address,
chair.
share.
Chair.
Okay, listen and repeat.
Page 126. Exercise D. Listen and repeat. Refrigerator,
Refrigerator,
Refrigerator.
room,
room,
Room.
road,
road,
Roof.
rent,
rent,
Rent.
address,
address,
chair.
share.
They hardly gave time, did they? All right, and then part E, listen, write L or R, listen again and repeat.
Page 126. Exercise E. Listen. Write L or R. 1,
large,
2,
rent,
3,
lamp,
4,
closet,
5,
chair,
6,
refrigerator,
7,
table,
8,
address,
9,
living room,
Okay, do you need me to repeat it?
For me, no.
No.
Okay, so listen again and repeat. Oh,
Page 126. Exercise E. Listen. Write L or R. 1,
large,
Large,
Large.
2,
rent,
rent,
3,
lamp,
lamp,
Lamp.
4,
closet,
closet,
Closet.
5,
chair,
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 6,
refrigerator,
refrigerator,
Refrigerator.
7,
table,
table,
Table.
8,
address,
address,
Address.
9,
living room,
living room.
okay, any questions?
No.
No.
All right. In the next part, Matthew, you're going to say 3 words from exercise A, and Nancy's going to write them down. So that's the part up at the top with the L's. So just read 3 of those words, not fast, slow enough so she can write them down, and Nancy's going to write them down.
¿Qué caso? ¿Qué caso?
Me vas a dictar 3 palabras del ejercicio A.
Ejercicio. Ok.
Escoge 3 palabras y me las dicte y yo las voy a escribir.
Okay. Lamp.
Ujú.
Living room.
Ujú.
Table.
Okay.
All right, so now Nancy, you're going to read 3 words from that section, and Matthew's going to write them down.
Okay. The exercise A.
Yes,
Okay. Closet,
Ajá.
boulevard,
Ajá.
large.
Ajá.
okay. Now then, you're going to look at part C. These are the R words. So down where it says G, you're going to write them in those 3 lines. So Matthew, read 3 of the words from part C, and Nancy's going to write them down in part G.
¿Entendiste, Matthew?
No.
Es lo mismo, pero ahora me las vas a decir del ejercicio C. Vas a escoger 3 del ejercicio C.
Okay. Refrigerator.
Refrigerator. Ajá.
Address.
Address. Ok.
Share.
Repeat.
Share.
Share. Ok. Share. Okay.
All right, now Nancy's going to read 3 words from part C, and Matthew's going to write them down in part G.
Ok. Ahora yo te las voy a dictar.
Ajá.
Rent,
Rent.
room,
Ajá.
road.
Row. Listo.
Finish.
Okay, so Nancy, read the 6 words that you wrote down.
In both Letter
Both of them, F and G, yes.
lamp, living room, table, and exercise C, refrigerator, address, and chair.
Okay, now Matthew, read the 6 words you wrote.
Closet, boulevard, large, rent, room, road.
Okay, any questions?
No.
No question.
All right. On page 127, it says vocabulary, part A, listen, listen and repeat.
Page 127. Exercise A. Listen. Bathroom,
Bathroom,
bedroom, chair, dining room, dryer, kitchen, lamp, living room, refrigerator, sink, sofa, stove, table, washing machine. Listen and repeat. Bathroom,
Bathroom,
bed,
bed,
bedroom,
bedroom,
chair,
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 dining room,
dining room,
dining room,
dryer,
dry,
kitchen,
kitchen,
lamp,
lamp,
living room,
living room,
refrigerator,
refrigerator,
sink,
sink,
sofa,
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 stove,
stove,
table,
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 washing machine.
washing
washing
machine.
machine.
Any questions?
No question.
No.
Now, using the words there that you just read, look at the picture and write the name of each room there. It gives you a picture, it gives you a number and a line from the number to the picture and then a line to write it on.
The bathroom, bed, living room, dining room, bed, bedroom, chair, lamp,
Is everyone finished?
No.
Okay.
sofa, stove. Estoy en la clase. Bueno, mejor que 200. ¿Y ahora aprende bien? ¿Dónde la compraron?
Sink.
Okay. So, Matthew, what's number 1?
Bathroom.
Okay, and Nancy, what's number 2?
Bedroom.
And number 3, Matthew?
Lamp.
Well, what's the name of the room?
Living room.
Yes. And number 4, Nancy?
Kitchen.
And number 5, Matthew?
Dining room.
Okay, now then, the next thing, it says, point to the furniture and appliances in each room, say the words. Well, I think it's going to be easier. What do you see in the bathroom?
Mhm. The sink.
Okay. Matthew, what's something that you see in the bathroom?
¿Cómo?
¿Qué estás viendo? Que ahora vamos a describir las diferentes cosas que ves por cada cuarto.
Ay, Dios mío, es miércoles.
You doing. ¿Cómo?
Okay.
Usa las palabras de arriba, las palabras que están arriba en ejercicio A.
Este es el problema.
¿Tú conoces las definiciones de las palabras del ejercicio A?
La estoy buscando.
¿Estás buscándolo? Te los digo, más fácil, más rápido si te las digo.
A ver.
Ok. Bathroom, ¿sabes lo que es, verdad? Missy Wanda, translated the name because Matthew have difficulty with the name, the translator in Spanish.
Okay.
Ok, bathroom, ¿sabes lo que es, verdad?
Ajá.
Bathroom, ¿sabes qué es el baño?
Sí, baño.
Bed es la cama.
Ajá.
Bedroom, el cuarto de dormir.
Ajá.
Chair es la silla.
Ajá.
Dining room, el comedor.
Ajá.
Dryer, como la secadora.
Ok.
Kitchen, cocina.
Ujú.
Lamp, la lámpara.
Ujú.
Living room es la sala.
Sí.
Refrigerator es la nevera.
Ujú.
Sink son los fregaderos. Puede ser el de la cocina o el lavamano del baño. Ambos se llaman sink.
Ok.
Sofa es sofá.
Ajá.
Stove es estufa.
¿Cuál es esto?
Stove es estufa.
Ujú.
Table es mesa. Y
Ajá.
washing machine es el secador, lavadora de plato. Washing machine, yes.
Ah, está.
No, washing machine es la lavadora.
Washing machine. El
El dishwashing es la secadora de plato.
ok.
Ok, dishwashing es la de plato y washing machine es la máquina de lavar ropa.
It's interesting, the words that I recognized, but I didn't know what they meant. So that was interesting. I'm on the other side. All right. Now we've gone over the furniture. So in the bedroom, what's something that you find in the bedroom?
Bed,
Okay. Matthew, what's something you find in the bedroom?
Lamp.
¿qué estás viendo en el cuarto, en la número 2, además de la cama? ¿Qué cosas hay?
Lámpara. Lamp.
Lamp.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping that you would be able to do it without having to get it all translated for you. All right, and then so Matthew, what do you see also in the living room?
Sofá.
Yes,
Sofa.
yes. Okay, and Nancy, what do you see?
Other lamp.
Yes, I was expecting you to say lamp, Matthew, but thank you for saying something else. Okay, and then in the dining room, what do you see?
Table.
Yes. And what else?
Child.
There.
Table.
And then in the kitchen, what do you see?
Sink.
Yes. What else?
Washing machine.
Dishwasher.
Yeah, I don't know that that one has a dishwasher. It has a stove. It has, maybe that thing next to the sink is a dishwasher, but it definitely has a refrigerator and cabinets. Okay. So, that is all of this unit. Any questions?
No.
No, it's not quite all. Here's a whole nother 2 pages. Sorry about that. So this is some more about show what you know. So number 1, talk about rooms in a home. Now, these are the rooms, not the furniture. Listen, 2 friends are talking about an apartment.
Page 128. Exercise 1A. Listen. 2 friends are talking about an apartment.
Guess what? I have a new apartment. Really? What's it like? It has a kitchen, a living room, and 1 bedroom. It sounds great.
Okay, so now think about the house where you live and the names of the rooms. And when you're ready, you're going to tell me the names of the rooms in your house or apartment.
Okay. ¿Entendiste, Matthew?
No, creo que lo que
Ahora vas a mencionar los cuartos que hay en donde tú vives. Si hay cuartos, si hay cocina, si hay sala, si hay comedor.
En inglés, por favor.
In English, please. Me dice, Wanda lo dijo en español, yo lo dije en inglés.
I know a smidgen of Spanish, but it's just a little bit. It's not like your English. Your English is much better than my Spanish.
Oh, no, your Spanish, okay. Okay, yeah, even. Dining room, kitchen.
Oh, I
room.
realized what time it is.
That,
So it's 8 o'clock. Like I said, I just realized I had been watching, but it was like 7. And so I forgot. I haven't been watching. So go ahead and write down the names of the rooms in the house or apartment where you live. And then that's where we'll start next week.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So any questions?
No question.
No.
Matthew, vamos a escribirlo y en la próxima clase lo vamos a empezar por ahí.
Bueno, niña,
Yo alive. ¿Viviste? ¿Sobreviviste?
de milagro.
No, lo estás haciendo bien, tranquilo, estás haciéndolo bien.
You have a whole week to do it. Now, I do have a question.
No
I'm
question.
going to have a little bit of surgery. And so I may need some time off. So think about when spring break would be,
Okay.
and I'll try to work it together with spring break. I'm not sure how much choice I'll have, and it might not affect this class at all.
Okay.
I got the impression it's not going to take long for him to do, but I'll not be able to do anything for a day or two.
Okay.
So just think about that. And so we're thinking about probably February, March, April.
Okay.
I don't know exactly when. So everybody have a good week.
Thank you, you too.
And remember to pray for Norma Guzman.
Yes.
Her COVID went into pneumonia.
Well,
And so, and her boys, 2 weeks and they were up and going, doing fine. Her husband, maybe a little bit longer, but it has really put her down. So she has, you know, boys and husband and house and all to take care of. And she feels awful. She's just not doing well at all. So please remember to pray for her.
okay.
And I'll see you next week.
Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, you know, I really enjoy this because I think that you are trying to do something better for yourself.
Mhm.
So why shouldn't I appreciate that you want to better yourself?
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Matthew, for joining us. And I don't know where everyone else is, but if it's just the 3 of us, it'll be just the 3 of us, right?
Bye, Mrs. Wanda. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Matthew.
See you next week.
Bye.